I'm Carole Hyder, and I am a Feng Shui expert. I've been doing Feng Shui for going on 30 years. I've seen a major shift in this modality. I have written 3 books on Feng Shui. I have 2 DVDs and 2 music CDs based on Feng Shui principles. I started the Wind and Water Center, which offers online courses about 20 some years ago. And I have also started an organization called the Feng Shui Institute of the Midwest, which is like a continuing ed program. So what is Feng Shui? What is it all about? The modality is about your relationship with your environment. And I mean, nobody argues with the fact that your space does reflect your life. But I think the true understanding of that is not really taken in, because not only should you love your space, but it should be in such a way that your space loves you back, so that it will help you create the kind of life that you want. That's really what Feng Shui is about. Feng means wind, and Shui means water in Mandarin Chinese. And they both imply movement. They both imply change, because wind comes and goes, the water keeps moving. So it's not about, never ever do you do Feng Shui for your space and then it stays that way. I mean, the big picture might, like, you aren't going to move your kitchen, but you know, there's an aliveness and a vibrancy when you're aware of your space, and you start to shift some things. When you don't see something anymore, like your artwork, it's time to change. And that change, it keeps bringing vibrancy and life to that place that you call home, or the place where you work. And that's really the crux of it. I get concerned when people just decide to nail down their furniture and go, well, it's good Feng Shui. It is for the moment, but it might change. Your life might change. You might decide you want a different piece of furniture. And we encourage that, you know, be in relationship with your space. The basic principles of Feng Shui, there are several, and I'll give you a couple of them. One is that everything's energy. And, you know, Marie Kondo brings this up. I like her. She brings up, you know, about clutter and about your stuff. You know, does it have good energy? And we've been saying that for years. Do your things, do the things that you have, that you own, your home even, does it have good energy for you? Do you feel uplifted? And if not, is it time to change? Is it time to move? Or is it time to just do something different that will engage you again? You know, it's like in a relationship, you know, you have to spice it up from time to time. And that's the same kind of thing. Everything is energy, and you want to make sure you're well aware that when you walk into your bedroom, in fact, this is the room that should be the one that you go, oh my God, I love this room, because it's such an intimate space and you want it to embrace you. You want it to be a sanctuary for you. That can be true of your office. You want to walk in and go, I feel really clear, I'm sharp and ready to go. You walk into your kitchen and you're ready to cook. And so there have to be these cues, these prompts, that when you get into the space, you go, I'm ready. I love this. This is so cool. I feel, you know, really jazzed about it. So everything's energy is one of them. Another one is that your space reflects your life. Now, the thing about that is your space reflects who you are. This is the goal. Get the space to reflect who you are. You know, I see people in spaces that, well, I can tell you the story of a woman who had retired. She was an English professor, and she retired, and she wanted to write novels. That was her retirement plan. And she had set herself up in her daughter, who was grown, in her daughter's old bedroom. And it still had ballerinas on the wall. You know, the wall coverings were little girl, the curtains were little girl curtains. And she sort of set up a card table and a folding chair, and didn't understand why she she couldn't write in there. Just wasn't reflecting who she was. And even more importantly, it should reflect where you're going. So we had to have a conversation about her being a successful novelist. And would that novelist sit in this office with the little ballerinas? No. So she got it. She had to reconfigure, and it cost her a little bit of money, but a lot of it was just labor. Where she took the wallpaper down, put it in a very professional color on the walls, got a desk. There's a concept and a real chair. And, that's when she could step into that role as the author. So it reflects who you are, but it also can reflect where you want to go. There's a fabulous study that was done back in the 70s at Harvard by a psychologist named Ellen Langer. She took 8 men who were in a long-term care facility. They were elderly in their 80s and 90s, and some were walking with a walker, some had a cane. She did an intelligence test, in the start of this experiment, and a full picture of them, face and body. And she put them in another environment where the decor was from the 50s. So this was like 20 some years earlier, when these men would have been younger. And the decor was all from the 50s. The television programs that they watched were from the 50s. The magazines were from the 50s. They had to wear 50s clothes. There were no mirrors. They had magazines laying around from the 50s. And so it was like they did what that's called a reminiscence bump. They just went back to the 50s. And they lived there 1 week, these 8 men. And when they left, some of them did not have their canes. Some barely needed their walkers. They looked younger. Their intelligence tests had improved. 1 week. And so your space does reflect your life. And in this case, they went backwards in time and gained some abilities that they didn't have or had lost or thought they had lost. We, in Feng Shui, we want to take it forward, a future bump forward. And so is it pulling you forward? Is it saying who you are now? And there's this nod to who you want to be. So those are really important. Everything's energy, and your space reflects your life. Those are our main platforms on which Feng Shui is based on. I'm going to give you about 3 things you can do that are sort of the go-to things. It's the place you can just jumpstart some Feng Shui. Some of them you may not like, but all the more reason for you to incorporate them if you can. One of them is, and if you've ever read a Feng Shui book, you'll read this, is to use your front door. And we're really serious about this. Use your front door. The front door is called the mouth of Qi. It's where good luck comes in. It's where opportunities come in. Wealth comes in through the front door. Health comes in through the front door. And you may go, well, how does that work? It's a symbolic, intentional action that happens when you walk in the front door. Opportunity knocks at that door, the front door. So you want to make sure it's used. Now, I know there's attached garages, or garages are in the back and it's unhandy. I get it. But if you really want, let's say you really need to get some money to come in. Well, how unhandy is it to say, all right, I have a set amount I need, or I want to earn, or I need to get as a bonus, or I just need to inherit, whatever, and you park in the garage. How difficult might that be? I mean, yes, there's snow here in Minnesota, and you might have a lot of groceries, but couldn't you just walk around and come in that front door? It's such a statement about your effort and your commitment to allowing that to come in. I've seen doors where there are no keys. They haven't used the front door in years, so they've lost the keys. I've seen front doors wired shut. I've seen doors painted shut, like if you had to get out in a fire and your door's wired shut, see, that probably isn't a good plan for that reason alone. But It's all about opening up, and it opens up to everything. Health, you got a health issue, use your front door. So the thing you can do is say, I'm going to use my front door every day for 9 days. You've made a good intention. You know, it's unrealistic to say you can only use your front door because that's not practical. But what if you said for a time span, I'm going to park in front, I'm going to come in my front door. It gives you a new look on your own life. And when you come outside, a new look on the world. It's a very effective thing to do. And you can't be snippy about it. You have to have a good attitude. You can't be grousing around by it. Another thing to do is, the clutter thing. Marie Kondo, we're back to her. Yeah, everything's energy. Remember, more things you have, the more energy you have. That's why people can't sleep. They've got so much stuff in their bedroom, under the bed and on the dresser and in the closet. You know, they all have needs. They want you to see them. They're beckoning. So minimize the clutter. And you can do her process of holding it. You know, do I need this book? Do I need this little statue thing? Do I need this little gift? Hard if somebody's giving you a present, you want to keep it, but think about your own health and your own life. Declutter. And if you're only going to start one place, start in your bedroom. Start in the bedroom because that's the room that gives you the most influence because of where you sleep. Another thing is take it to your office. You know, you want to be in command in your office. You want to see the door. At least get so you can see the entry to your door, sit with a high back chair. You want, you know, I have tons of books here. You can see what I did. I covered them. They were glass doors. I put wallpaper on them. And it's like the decibel level just dropped. And it allows me to think and to concentrate, not be distracted. Simplicity in the office is key. It's just a really important thing. And it's, you know, stuff gets strewn, and I see it as well. Sometimes I leave here and I go, whoa. And I just have to straighten up because if I come in the morning and it's just, I don't know where to start. And I'm all overwhelmed and I haven't even sat in my high back chair. So, you know, just tidy it up. You know, you need to be control in the office. So, and so many of us are working from home these days. And even if you aren't, you've got a cubicle somewhere. It's the same principles. Take control of the space. Don't let the space get out of control for you. So I've been in the Feng Shui world for so long that I have seen it make about 180-degree change. When I first started, it was, I was being taught by a man who came from Taiwan. And I was a Buddhist Lama, Professor Thomas Lin Yun, and he totally understood that where Feng Shui started in China, it was based on one thing. But when it got here, it had to be based on another thing. And the thing it was based on in China is fear. Fear that the emperor wouldn't be, you know, a lot of Feng Shui was done in palaces. And their concern was they wouldn't be revered, they wouldn't be obeyed, there would be insurrections, the common people would take over. So they wanted to be positioned in a very strong place. And some of that still carries over. Having a high back chair is kind of part of that, where you feel supported, strong, command of the space. But when it got through Europe and here into the US, we don't live with that kind of fear so much. We don't thrive under that kind of a need to change or to act in a certain way. And so it has become more of an empowerment tool. Like I feel really good in my home or in my office. And so from here I can do anything. You know, I can feel younger. I can feel like a novelist. I can feel like, you know, I can do anything. And so the one thing I learned, so we've gotten over the part about, it's not about fear. We've also gotten over the part about it's not a religion. I faced that one for a number of years. It's not a religion. It's very sacred, but it's not a religion by any means. You do not have to be Buddhist to do Feng Shui. And we've gotten over the part about it's a woman's thing. And because men are coming around, it's been slow, but I've done a number of appointments for single men who are building a home, or they're moving, or they just want something different in their lives. And they're so open. Not all men have gotten there, and not all women are there either, but most women really understand the concept. So I like that. I like that, it's starting to balance out. It's certainly becoming more acceptable. So that said, there are a lot of people studying Feng Shui, and studying is the key word here, because some people feel if they read a lot of books, they have got it. They got it. And I'm here to tell you, you can read books. You can certainly read my books, but there's also an oral transmission that is so important and key in learning this material. You need to hear it. You can read it and read it and read it, but honestly, when you hear it, it takes on a whole different meaning for you. So you need a teacher. And when somebody says, I've read all the books, I took an online course and it was self-guided, so I'm fine. Yeah, they probably have some knowledge. They probably won't do too much damage, but they also, it isn't going to be the experience that you want. You want somebody who is studied one-to-one or Zoom to Zoom, which is what we're doing now, but has studied with somebody. There's a lot of things, nuances that happen that can't be covered in books, because you just never know. You know, you didn't know you were going to run into somebody whose husband just hung themselves in the attic. Is that in a chapter in a book? Yeah, probably not. And so, you know, you need that kind of one-to-one transmission. So if you're looking for someone to do Feng Shui for you, you do want to just be verified that they had a teacher. Maybe they're not involved with the teacher anymore. Maybe they really even didn't like the teacher, but they did have that oral transmission. It's an important piece. And I can also tell you from experience, you can hire 2 Feng Shui people, and you know, they won't contradict each other. Usually they won't, but one will focus on something more than the other one will. And it's just kind of their tendency, or their expertise. They should not be conflicting. There should not be, not in a big way. And we don't have minor things that come up, but so that would be what I would suggest, that you can certainly do your own reading, so you've got some knowledge behind you. You do need to provide a blueprint for the consultant, and you know, I sometimes will write my appointment up afterwards after I've been there. A lot of times I really prefer that the client take notes, because they write it down in their own way. I've learned sometimes what I think is important, they're like, yeah, but what about the closet? You didn't mention the closet in your write-up. Yeah, so they take their own notes. You know, we should be prepared to take notes. You can film it. I don't have a problem, or tape it. That's not a problem either, so you get all the information.